What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Highway with Kyle Shutt. What are y'all smoking on this week? Let's see. I am smoking on this brioche French toast. It is as delightful as it sounds. And you got to be high for this week's guest, Mr. Kasper Eriksson, the drummer and one of the founding members of one of my new favorite bands, Hällas. If you like super epic concept albums that bleed in and out of each other, space metal, just all kinds of amazing imagery and good old-fashioned rock and roll, you're going to love this band. They call themselves Adventure Rock. They have a new album called Isle of Wisdom coming out this April. You got to check them out. They are your new favorite band, I promise. And it's good to be back from the road, take a little break, but I am excited to hit the road again at the end of April. It's us, Clutch, Nate Bergman, and some friends of our Sun Voyager is going to play a couple shows with us too. We're going to take over the whole East Coast. Get your tickets now. If you don't know where to find the tickets, then I really don't know what to tell you. Get your shit together. Now, I'm not going to bore you with any business talk or gear shout-outs or Patreon pandering this week. Y'all know the deal. Like and follow the show if you want to. If you don't, you know what? You do you. I'm just so stoked that you all decided to tune in today. Thank you so much for listening. Now, there comes a point in everyone's life when it's time to talk about epic space metal. Let's do things my way.
The Highway.
Hey, what's going on, Kasper?
Hey, nice talking to you.
Hey, thanks so much for coming on, man. You just said, talking with the drummer from an unknown Swedish band. Y'all aren't entirely unknown. A lot of my friends here in the States love your band. Kasper from Hällas, everybody. Is that how you pronounce it?
Not really. It's Hällas, but you can call us whatever you want.
Hällas. Okay, yeah, but I just for posterity, I like to pronounce things correctly. Actually, I first heard about y'all on your first EP. I was in a great record store in Seattle called Zion's Gate. The owner, Steven, up there, he's always he's got his ear to the ground. He's always looking out for his customers, and I always spend way too much money when I go in there. But every time I go in, I'm saying, hey, what do I need to have this time? And he threw your EP in the little pile that he had set aside for me, and dude, I loved it. It's I know y'all. I've seen where y'all call it adventure rock, but it really is. It's like it's heavy, but it's real dynamic and subdued too, and just the whole concept of each one of your albums telling an involving story. I thought it was great. It's almost like it doesn't sound like Coheed and Cambria or anything like that, but it's that sort of continued narrative throughout your releases. I think it's just awesome. How did y'all come about making the band and deciding to tell the story that way?
It's basically a kind of a boring story how we went from just... It started back in a small town in Sweden where I met my friend Tommy, who's the vocalist of the band. We didn't know each other back then, but we had some common friends and had met each other at parties and stuff. And we got to know that we had some similar taste in music. So we decided to form some kind of a band. We were basically just jamming like really simple Black Sabbath influenced blues rock in a small garage back then. But then we met some other guys and started to build a small concept around the songs, and we started to get some kind of a goal, you can say. And then we actually went to the studio to record this EP. I can just say that I have really mixed feelings for that album, because we were we weren't as, how to say this, we weren't as we never knew back then how far this would take us. For me at least, we have made it far beyond any expectations by now. And so we were just having fun in a studio in the same town. And in that studio, Niklas, the keyboardist, it was his studio. So we met the keyboardist in the studio. He was the producer of the first EP and also a little demo that we made before that. So, and he added a lot of synthesizers and some organs on that EP. So afterwards we felt like we couldn't really continue without him. So we asked him to join us after a gig he helped us with. And since then we've been 5, and we've gotten some recognition. It's really nice, but it's basically just for fun. We will do this as long as we feel it's a fun thing and that we can take something out of it. Yeah, so that's the backstory of Hällas. And the adventure thing, it was the Adventure Rock was created by Niklas. I think it was when we were in his studio. He was like starting to dig in and banging his head to the music and said to us that this sounds really adventurous. You should call this Adventure Rock. And why not? It's a great name of a genre that I think didn't exist.
I've never heard of it. Yeah, so yeah, I'll take that. I mean, it really is adventure rock. I mean, like the musically, it lends itself to being very cinematic and moody and stuff. And it really does. I feel like, especially within like musical theater and things like that, if you're going to tell a story with music, the music has to advance the plot. And I could see that making, like, setting the stage, for a very adventurous time.
I think so too. We were, when we recorded the EP, we weren't really sure whether we should do a full concept album or not, and we hadn't figured it all out back then. But we we worked a lot on it since then. So, and we at least we know what we're doing right now.
Yeah, that's always good. It's funny that you added a bunch of keyboards in the studio, and then that's the Sword did the same thing. Where at the end of it all, you're like, shit! Now we have to get a synthesizer.
Exactly.
We've never gone so far as to add another member, but it's at one point our bass player had like a Taurus like foot synthesizer and like 2 other keyboards. We called it his creation station over there. But
it's really nice. It's basically a new dimension to the music in a way.
Mm-hmm. No, I love synthesizers in rock music. It's as far back as bands like Yes and even Sabbath and stuff. A lot of people forget like how much synthesizer is on some of those Sabbath records.
Yeah. That's my favorite Black Sabbath albums, the mid-late 70s albums, like Technical Ecstasy and even Never Say Die.
I love those records. I hate really people that have that shirt that says you can only trust yourself in the first 6 Black Sabbath albums. Like, fuck you. If you don't like Dirty Women, I don't know what to tell you. Just fucking go home.
Yeah, they are really good songs on those albums. I have never understood why people didn't like it as much, but I guess it's more grown-up music, I suppose.
Yeah, I heard they're reissuing all the Tony Williams era Black Sabbath stuff too, like Tear and Dehumanizer and stuff like that. So I'll be interested to see people's reactions to those reissues.
Oh yeah, I have to admit I don't really like that era. So
it's weird, I didn't like it when I first heard it, but I went back recently and kind of dove back in, and I mean it's the 90s were really cruel to a lot of bands, that were established before
Definitely.
Then. But it was there's something to appreciate though. I was pleasantly surprised upon revisiting it, but can't win them all.
Yeah. I'll have to give it another try, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yeah, where are you based now in Sweden?
Oh, we're based everywhere in Sweden.
Okay.
I think only 2 of us lives in the same city right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we're mixed up in the mid south part of Sweden, basically.
It's all the pings, right? Like Norrköping and
yeah, exactly. That part of Sweden. Yeah,
because ping is like, it means like town or village or something like that, right? Or
no, ping is nothing, but it's Köping. I've never understood what it means, but a lot of Swedish small or big cities has it. So I guess it has something to do with the name of a place. I don't know.
I'm glad that you don't know either. You know, I feel less ignorant. Yeah, but are you planning? I mean, I know that touring the last couple of years has been impossible, but now that the world's kind of opening up again, do you have any plans to hit the road? Because I know you have a new record coming out in April. I'm really, really excited to check it out.
Yeah, we have some plans actually. We're going on a tour in Europe in May, mostly Germany and some France, Belgium, and stuff. But that's the same tour that's been postponed like 4 times now. So God. We're finally, hopefully, I can't say for sure, but hopefully we can do it this time. Mm-hmm. So it was supposed to be the release tour for our last album, Conundrum, but it never happened.
Okay.
We
and now you already have a new one. Oh, jeez.
Yes. So we renamed it to the Conundrum and Isle of Wisdom tour.
But so with Isle of Wisdom, I haven't had a chance. John just sent it to me today. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. But is it continuing the Hällas story that you've been telling so far?
No, actually not. It's a new story. The hero of our last stories died on Conundrum, so we had to end that story, sadly. But we wrote a new script for this one, and it's basically just a new story from the same universe in a way. It's a mix of 2 concepts or stories by me and Tommy. Most parts from Tommy. It's the story set on this a hidden island, which is in our universe, in its own universe, hidden from the real universe of that universe. It's not as complex as it sounds, but and it's basically following a bunch of kids that are escaping their home, since their hometown is under siege by this evil ruler. So they find a portal into another dimension to this hidden isle or island where more bad stuff happens. So that's about it.
That's fucking rad. Do you guys have any like plans or desires to flesh it out in like a different medium, like a graphic novel or like a animated videos or anything like that?
Yeah, we often talk about it. We hope to be able to do something like that one day, but it's it's hard being a musician in a small band, trying to figure out whether you have time for stuff or not. And the priority for us right now is the music, since that's all we can do, since we have to work apart from being a musician. So but we have been talking about it. It would be great to like write a book series, or maybe write a script for a fantasy film or anything like that would be amazing. Just we just need some help.
That shit is not cheap either. Like the Sword with our third album, Warp Riders, which is its own kind of standalone sci-fi opera. We really wanted to do a graphic novel that went along with it, but just like the label at the time didn't feel like funding it, and it takes a long time to even draw a graphic novel or get that whole thing right. So it just, the whole idea kind of fell apart. But at this point, it's been over 10 years. I'd like to think that we could pull something together like that. But it's tough these days being in a small band.
It's really tough. Has it been 10 years since you released the album?
Since Warp Riders, it's been 12 years.
Yeah.
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 We're old.
12 years.
Feeling older every day. Yeah, we were fortunate enough to be able to tour last year, and I just got home from a tour right now, and we're leaving out again in April. It is so good to be back on the road. I don't mean to brag, but y'all are gonna have a great time when y'all can get out there.
Yeah, I really look forward to it. We have a kind of a big show in April in Stockholm, like a special show where we play like the full first trilogy about the night Hällas. So our focus is mainly on that show right now. So we're counting the days.
Awesome. Where are you gonna
play? Cirkus in Stockholm.
Oh, I never played there.
It's a really nice old venue. We will have a seated audience for the first time. It's really nice.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, what made you want to pick up the drums? Like back in were there any kind of? I mean, you talked about like old blues rock and things like that. But was there ever a moment when you were growing up where that just it just clicked for you and you knew that you wanted to play music and you didn't care what it took?
I really don't remember what it was like for me, why I picked the drums. I know that I was, before I chose to play the drums, I was more excited to be a bass player for any reason. I have no idea. That's beyond me. But I know I got a drum set when I was turning 15. And I know my brother is a guitarist, and my stepdad back then was also a guitarist. So my idea was that we could jam together at home, and we did. So I think and drums are the coolest. It's the biggest instrument, and you can do a lot of fun stuff with drums. You can add synthesizers. You can add more drums and more cymbals and make it huge. It's really nice.
I love when people put effects on their live drums, like when you hook a delay pedal up to your snare drum or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever do anything like that?
No, not any pedal effects, but I have an 80s, Simmons, like pad drums, like analog synthesizer drums. I have one of those that I've been using. I used it live for our last tour, and it was really nice.
Yeah, just like a rototom kind of thing, or do you do like 808 drops, or what do you use it for?
No, it's like a synthesizer brain connected to a big diamond-shaped pads, like the real stuff from the 80s. So
wow.
I added some of that on the last album, so I had to use it live, and it's really nice. And back then we didn't have our own sound engineer. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was nice for them to get them in the mix, but it was worth it. I didn't use them a lot, so it wasn't a big problem, but it was fun to add that part to a drum set. It make me feel more like a real musician in a way, even though I'm only a drummer.
But do you have any plans to try to come over to the States? Because I can tell you, I know a ton of people that are really into you guys over here.
Yeah, I mean, we've been constantly trying to figure a way out to get to the States for maybe the past 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
but we're hoping to get there in early 2023. We have some plans, and I really hope that it will be possible, because we've been talking about it a lot, and others have been talking about it a lot. So mm-hmm. We have to do it someday.
It's tough, man. It's expensive to tour internationally. I mean, even domestically, it's quite expensive. But yeah, renting a van or whatever, you have to do renting all your gear, finding a band that can do it, getting promoters to pay the money. It's fucking difficult to do, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've never tried going across the Atlantic Ocean, but there's a reason to that.
Yeah, for real. I know that like just being a musician is a much different kind of, I guess like society looks at it differently, in Sweden especially, than the States. And from an American's point of view, I guess it just seems like that being a musician is much more of like a viable career path, and that like you don't get as much pushback from family or just society in general about wanting to pursue music full time. And it seems like you have a lot more like help like from the government in forms of either money or facilities where you can rehearse that are sponsored and things like that. Is that true, or is that really kind of like a one-sided point of view, or like an anomalous kind of thing? Because I know bands that have taken advantage of that, but I don't know if that was the same for every band, or if that was just kind of like a myth, that like an urban legend that we keep talking about over here.
I think it's a mix of everything. I think it's partly an urban legend glamorized by others, but also there's some truth to it. I guess we get some help by the government in order to get some money for rehearsal studios and stuff like that. But more than that, I don't know really. We haven't been trying that much, but we got some help that's been really good for us, and we didn't gig to get some money or stuff. So it's easy to find a cheap rehearsal studio if you look at the right places.
Mm-hmm. Is it are they pretty prevalent everywhere, or is it kind of like one of those things where you have to go to a different city, like that might be bigger or something like that to has things like that?
I guess it's easier in the bigger cities. Yeah, actually, but that's also the only thing I know. And all our rehearsal studios has been in one of the few big cities of Sweden. So I guess so, but I have no idea.
Also, another kind of aspect about like being in, I guess, touring the States versus touring in Europe and things like that is it seems like a lot of bands in Europe, at least, or the UK, don't have their own vehicles. Is that kind of a similar thing in Sweden, or do you all have like a band van that you use to tour with?
No, I don't think I know any band that has their own vehicle, actually. That's pretty rare here in Sweden, at least at our level. But that would be great, though. It's really expensive to rent vans every time we have to go. But it's also really expensive buying one, so...
Yeah, the Sprinter vans are like, it usually seems like what's more prevalent over there, and those are fucking expensive, man. Like, I mean, I don't know what the conversion would be, but you can get a decent one in the States for $70,000. That's just ridiculous. We're used to finding some pretty cheap Econoline vans we used to get them for like $10,000, which it just made touring that much easier. It almost, and this because the States is so big that you almost, as a band, you have to have your own vehicle to make it. So that was always something that I felt like was synonymous with being in a band, was getting the van and all that stuff. So I always love hearing people's different, experiences with that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've never heard of any bands here that has their own. Everything is rental. Everything everywhere.
It's so funny because like a lot of Swedish people are really into the 70s. That whole kind of like era and everything like that, and like vans were a huge part of that. It'd be funny if there was like a scene of like a Swedish van people. That would be hilarious to me. I don't know why. Yeah,
but though I think I know. Do you know Sayana Root?
No.
It's a Swedish like stone rock 70s kind of band. They have their own like huge. Old bus, basically, it looks like an old school bus or something, and it's just interesting that I know that they have their own van, because that's not, as I said before, not a common thing here, but it's really cool.
Awesome.
But also I don't have a driver's license yet, so it's not my problem.
You're not missing much, man. It's murder out there.
Actually, I'm trying. I was on a driver's lesson just a couple of hours ago, and it's
how'd it go?
making me really nervous. It went okay. It was the first one, so a bit shaky.
Did you drive, or was it just like a written test?
No, I was driving. Yeah, on the road.
Nice.
Yeah,
what they have
I felt grown up for the first time.
It's been a long time since I started driving, but I remember how nerve-wracking it can be. Because the roads up there, it's, the highways and everything are a lot different than they are in the States. They're a lot smaller and tighter, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never tried any highway in in the States, so I have no idea. But I can imagine everything is bigger in the States, huh?
It is. We actually, I think it was 2008. It was Graveyard's first tour of the States. It was Graveyard, The Sword, and Clutch, and we they just rented a van. It was the four dudes in the band, and then the drummer's brother Eric, and then so it was just five Swedish dudes in a van that had no idea how to tour the States, and so we kind of had to like teach them like little pointers, like, here, do this, don't do that, or whatever. But they got the miles per hour and the kilometers per hour mixed up on the odometer, or on the speedometer, and so they were going like 100 miles an hour all the time, because they thought they were going 100 kilometers an hour. And they got pulled over in Alabama somewhere in the South, and the cop was like, opened up the van and was just like five Swedish dudes. He's like, "Where the hell are y'all from?" And he's just like pointing at the odometer, like, you don't make sure this needle doesn't go past right here. It was just the funniest fucking thing to me hearing them tell that story. They were great. They've really come a long way since then, but that was they were really green on that tour. It was funny.
Oh, nice. The funny thing in Sweden, if they got pulled over, they have never been driving again. I can tell you that. Really? Yeah, it's pretty strict here, the rules, and it's really hard to get a driver's license. That's I at least I tell myself that's the reason why I don't have one, but I've also never tried. But yeah, they are kind of strict here with the driving thing.
What would you have to do to get pulled over? I mean, just anything? Is it like that, or is it like you'd really have to like cross a line?
Now you're asking me really specific questions about driving. I don't know the exact rules, but I know it's if you would go like 100 miles per hour, I think they would probably take your driver's license. Yeah.
Sorry, I love hearing the differences culturally in that. I love Sweden. I cannot wait to make it back there. We always had a wonderful time playing up in just anywhere really, all over Scandinavia, but Sweden especially. We always had a wonderful time in Malmo and Stockholm. Are there any favorite spots that you love playing? Just besides Sweden like that? Do you have any other Scandinavian spots or anywhere in Europe that y'all hit that you want to go back to?
Yeah, I mean, we really like playing in Norway. Where every show in Norway has been great. We haven't done a lot of shows in Norway, but all of them has been really successful. Mm-hmm. So we're always looking forward to going back there. But it's all shows are nice except for the empty ones, I suppose. But I mean, I really like smaller shows with like a small audience in a really small basement or whatever. The energy is really nice, and I also like the bigger ones at festivals. That's nice in a completely different way. So I tend to look forward to every show, I guess. But Norway is probably my favorite country playing at, apart from Sweden. So yeah,
I love it.
And Germany is really, really nice too. It's so different from Sweden. It's people are smoking inside, and that doesn't happen here. It's not allowed. So
yeah, we toured with this band called Lonely Camel from Norway. I don't know if you would have heard of them or not, but they were.
Yeah, I think I know.
They were all hooked on snus, which I guess in the States we call it like chewing tobacco, like Skoal, things like that. But over there they called it snus. And but I guess by the time they got to Germany, like they don't. That's really more of like a Scandinavian thing. They don't really have that like everywhere.
I don't think it's. I think it's illegal outside of Scandinavia for some reason.
It's something like that. But every night they would get on the mic, like when we were on tour in Germany, and they'd be like, "Is anybody here from Sweden?" And like somebody would cheer in the back. He goes, "Do you have any snus?" They were all just like fiending for it. It's more common than cigarettes here. I snooze too. It's amazing. I had some because it wasn't like the kind that they have over here. Like the stuff that they were chewing on, it had like dried strawberries in it, and it was it was a lot more flavorful, and I could see the appeal more with that kind.
Yeah, chewing tobacco is a complete different thing. It's disgusting. But I've also only tried the Oliver Twist stuff. But I don't like that. But snus is it's civil and a nice way of tobacco.
A nice way to kill yourself. But yeah, well, I'm really, really excited to check out the new record. It comes out in April. Isle of Wisdom. And I always asked our guests if they would like to play a song off of it. I know it's might be a little bit early, but I think we can work it out. If is there a song off the record that you just love that you wouldn't mind playing on the show?
A song from our new album. Tough one. I think my favorite is the last song, The Wind Carries the Word. That one would be great to hear.
Beautiful. Awesome. We're going to play it right now. Everyone's going to love it. It's y'all are one of my favorite newer bands that are around. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And it'd be rad to play some shows together at some point in the future. We gotta make it happen, bud. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I really look forward to meeting you in person one day.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks again, and check out the new record, Isle of Wisdom, everybody. Thanks so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Conspiring in silence with thoughts of the sea. Hidden from light where eyes are condemned to be. Liberty, something wisdom. And follow the dark ground through which of the blood sacrifice. Through the valley of fear and war, singing sacred hymns to praise the God. From the sea to the deep I'll soar. The wind carries the word of the dark war. Spells are cast to crawl the unknown dimension. The tongues of the wicked bewitches the mystic light. All the gods and daunting missions, they follow the dark round to which God and blood sacrifice. Through the valley of fear they walk, singing sacred hymns to praise the gods. From the sea to the deep I'll shore, the wind carries the word. land of prophecy. In the well of wisdom's inks are gifts in crimson blood. When the trade of souls have passed, has the ritual begun? Just cry for her to wake the mighty tree. When shards of stone align the stars, the rope is striking our prayers.
Thanks for tuning in to The Highway with Kyle Shutt. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe if you want to keep up with the latest episodes. And don't forget to check out the Highway with Kyle Shutt playlist on Spotify to keep up with all the rad tunes that we play on the program. And if you need some new gear in your life, don't forget to check out Reverend Guitars, Railhammer Pickups, Idiot Box Effects, and Ray Decker Cables. Stay high, everybody. We'll see you next week.